Lily was a bright and spirited little girl who lived in a cozy house on the edge of a small village. With her long, curly hair and twinkling green eyes, she was known for her eager smile and adventurous heart. Every day after school, she would rush home, her backpack bouncing against her back, excited to share stories of her day with her mother, a warm and loving woman who always seemed to know how to make everything right. Her mother worked as a baker, filling their home with delightful scents of fresh bread and sweet pastries. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more. And tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. Each morning, Lily would help her knead the dough and sprinkle flour over the countertops. Baking was their special time together, a ritual that made their bond even stronger. They would giggle and sing songs while softening the butter or whisking eggs, each moment filled with laughter. But on this particular evening, as the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in rich hues of orange and violet, Lily felt a strange emptiness. Normally, her mother would return just as the last light faded, the inviting aroma of freshly baked goods announcing her arrival. However, as twilight rolled in and darkness settled around their home, Lily found herself peering through the window, waiting anxiously. Minutes turned into hours, and still there was no sign of her mother. Sitting on the old wooden swing in their backyard, surrounded by the cool whisper of autumn leaves, Lily's mind raced with worry. Thoughts spiraled in her head. What if something happened to her? Did she forget? Lily's heart raced at every sound, the rustle of branches, the hoot of an owl. Even the slightest hint of movement made her hope that it was her mother coming home. As the moon rose high in the starry sky, casting a silvery glow over everything, fear wrapped around Lily like a heavy blanket. She decided she couldn't wait any longer. She had to find her mother. But where to start? The village wasn't very big. Everyone knew each other. Yet there had been whispers about strange happenings in the forest nearby. People said it was haunted and that shadows wandered among the trees. But nothing could stop her determination. With a deep breath, Lily grabbed her favorite flashlight and hugged her teddy bear close for comfort. "I'll find you, Mom," she whispered fiercely to herself before stepping into the darkening world beyond her yard. The forest loomed ahead, thick with tangled trees that stretched high into the sky. It looked daunting, but with each step forward, Lily felt a mix of fear and excitement surge through her small frame. The branches swayed gently in the chill breeze, almost as if they were whispering secrets meant only for her. Despite being frightened by tales of ghosts and creatures lurking in the woods, she knew she had to be brave. With determination in her heart and hope guiding her way, she ventured deeper into the forest where shadows danced among the trees. As she bravely took one step after another, she couldn't shake off an unsettling feeling that something or someone was watching her. Little did she know that fate had more in store for her than just finding her mother. An unexpected encounter awaited that would change everything. As the night stretched on, Lily sat on the swing in her backyard, clutching her teddy bear tightly. The cool evening air brushed against her cheeks, but it did little to calm the growing concern in her heart. With every passing minute, she felt a tug of worry that pulled her deeper into sadness. Where could her mother be? Throughout the day, Lily had waited eagerly for the familiar sound of her mother's footsteps returning home. The comforting scent of baked goods always hinting at a delicious treat to come. But as shadows danced around her and night fell, that delightful expectation turned into a heavy weight in her chest. She recalled their morning together, the laughter, the flour dusting their noses, and it made her long for her mother's presence even more. With each tick of the clock inside their quiet home, memories flooded Lily's mind. She remembered how they would sing silly songs while baking cookies, and how her mother would tell stories about magical creatures lurking in forests far away. Just like those stories, she thought, glancing toward the dark woods at the edge of the village. The tales made the forest seem alive with mystery, but they also filled Lily with trepidation. Maybe she got caught up talking to Mrs. Thompson. Lily reassured herself softly, trying to push away the creeping worry. Yet deep down, she sensed something was wrong. Her mom never stayed out this late without calling or sending a message. After what felt like hours of waiting, Lily finally stood up and paced back and forth on the porch steps. She bit her lip nervously, glancing back at their home as if it might give her an answer. The village was quiet. Not even a breeze stirred among the trees that surrounded them. "Mom," she called out into the stillness, hoping that somehow her voice would reach her mother wherever she might be. But only silence answered back. The moon hung high above, casting an eerie glow over everything, as if it too felt Lily's distress. Fear and sadness intertwined like vines around her heart as she imagined all sorts of scenarios. What if something terrible had happened? What if she was lost? What if... Taking a deep breath to steady herself, Lily decided she couldn't just wait anymore. She needed to find her mom. She jumped off the swing and rushed inside to grab her flashlight and teddy bear for comfort. "I'll find you," she whispered determinedly, steeling herself for what lay ahead. As she stepped outside again, darkness surrounded her like a thick blanket. The forest loomed ominously nearby, its thick trees creating shadows that danced in the moonlight. It looked daunting, yet whispered promises of adventure and potential answers. Lily swallowed hard, but clenched her fist around the flashlight tightly. This was not just about finding answers. This was about bringing her mother home safely. With courage in every step, despite uncertainty gnawing at her stomach, she ventured toward the unknown depths of the forest. With each footfall echoing softly against fallen leaves and twigs underfoot, Lily felt both fear and exhilaration mix inside of her. "You can do this," she said aloud to herself, as much as to Teddy Bear clasped tightly in one arm. "Mom needs me." And with that thought guiding her way forward into darkness filled with whispers and shadows, Lily entered a world where magic awaited, along with challenges that would test both her bravery and heart in ways she never imagined possible. The forest loomed before Lily, its towering trees stretching high into the sky like dark giants. The leaves rustled softly in the cool night breeze, creating a symphony of whispers that sent shivers down her spine. Despite her fear, she felt a flicker of courage igniting within her. This was where she believed she might find answers about her mother's disappearance. Taking a deep breath, Lily stepped onto the narrow path that wound through the trees. The beam of her flashlight cut through the darkness, revealing twisted roots and patches of soft moss beneath her feet. Each step echoed in the stillness, but she pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. What if she got lost in here? Lily wondered aloud, glancing back toward the village that seemed so far away now. "I have to find her." The thought fueled her resolve as she imagined her mother's warm smile and comforting hug waiting at the end of this journey. As she ventured deeper into the woods, strange sounds surrounded her. An owl hooting in the distance, the rustle of small creatures scurrying about, and the creaking of branches swaying overhead. It was almost as if the forest itself had come alive, watching her with curious eyes. But amidst those unsettling noises, there were also sounds that intrigued her, soft giggles and faint whispers that danced on the wind. "Hello?" Lily called out tentatively, hoping someone might hear her. Silence followed for a moment, before a gentle breeze swept through the trees, causing them to sway as if responding to her voice. She couldn't shake off an odd feeling that perhaps someone, or something, was guiding her deeper into the shadows. With each moment passing, hope mingled with anxiety in Lily's heart. She had heard stories from her mother about magical creatures living in enchanted forests, fairies who sprinkled glitter on flowers, and friendly animals who could talk. Maybe they could help. Her imagination sparked visions of tiny glowing lights leading her to safety, or wise old owls offering sage advice. But as she continued walking along the winding path, doubt crept in alongside those hopeful thoughts. "What if it's just my imagination?" she whispered to Teddy Bear, clutching him tighter against her chest for comfort. It suddenly dawned on her that this place wasn't just unfamiliar. It felt more alive than anything else she'd ever known. Just then, a flicker of movement caught her eye, a shadow darting between two trees ahead. Intrigued yet cautious, Lily approached slowly, shining her flashlight into the dark spaces between branches. For a fleeting moment, she thought she saw something glimmer, a pair of bright eyes reflecting back at her before vanishing into thin air. "Is someone there?" she called out again, with more confidence this time. "I'm looking for my mom." In response to Lily's plea, an unexpected gust swept through the foliage, causing leaves to swirl around her like leaves caught in a playful dance. Curiosity bubbled inside Lily as hope surged anew. Maybe this forest held secrets that would lead her closer to finding her mother. With determination burning brightly in her chest and every heartbeat echoing with purpose, Lily took another step onto the winding path ahead. The unknown awaited with mysteries untold and possibilities infinite. Little did she know that this journey would not only test her bravery, but also connect her to extraordinary beings who would change everything about how she saw herself and those around her. As Lily ventured deeper into the forest, her heart raced with a mix of excitement and uncertainty. The shadows danced around her, weaving together elements of mystery and enchantment. With her flashlight beam slicing through the darkness, she continued along the path, her senses heightened and alert. Suddenly, she was drawn to a peculiar glow coming from a small clearing up ahead. It flickered like candlelight, beckoning her closer. Intrigued, Lily pushed aside the branches that hung low over the path and stepped into the clearing. Her breath caught as she saw something extraordinary. The source of the glow was no ordinary light. It seemed to emit from a figure standing in the middle. The figure was tall and cloaked in dark fabrics that shimmered like velvet. A hood obscured much of his face, but Lily could make out pale skin and sharp features that gave him an air of both elegance and danger. Traces of ancient power surrounded him, making the hairs on her arms stand up. She had heard stories of creatures in the forest, but nothing prepared her for this moment. With courage bubbling inside her, Lily took a deep breath. "Who are you?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady despite feeling small in his presence. "I am the Vampire King," he replied smoothly, his voice rich and melodious, echoing slightly in the quiet night. A hint of curiosity flickered in his eyes as they glinted in the moonlight like polished silver. Lily's heart raced even faster as she recalled all the tales about vampires. Some said they were scary creatures that lurked in the night. But this vampire seemed different. He had an aura of mystery, yet there was something oddly inviting about him too. "What are you doing here, little girl?" he asked gently, leaning forward slightly from under his hood. "I'm looking for my mom," Lily answered without hesitation, clutching Teddy Bear tightly against her chest. She didn't come home, and I'm worried." The Vampire King regarded her with a mix of intrigue and compassion. "You are brave to wander into these woods alone," he said thoughtfully. "But what makes you believe I can help you?" Lily straightened up just a little, gathering all her courage. "I've heard stories about magical creatures living here who could help people," she replied earnestly. "And I need your help." A soft chuckle escaped him, echoing across the clearing like sweet music. "Many fear me because of age-old tales," he said thoughtfully. "But perhaps they do not know what lies within my heart." He paused for a moment before continuing. "Very well. Tell me more about your mother." With a wave of his hand, he gestured for Lily to come closer. She felt an overwhelming urge to trust him as she shared more about her mother, the kindness she showed to everyone in their village, how she always knew how to make things better with a hug or smile. The Vampire King listened attentively, nodding at her words as if understanding something deeper than mere information. "There is darkness in this forest," he finally said, after a moment of silence that hung between them. "I cannot promise you safety without caution." His gaze turned serious as shadows shifted nearby. Lily swallowed hard but nodded resolutely. This was not just about seeking help. It was about saving her mother too. They stood together under the stars for a moment longer before he extended his hand toward her, an offer that began their extraordinary journey together through the forest's depths, where magic and danger intertwined in unseen ways. The clearing settled into an uneasy silence as the Vampire King regarded Lily with a mix of curiosity and caution. He had lived in the shadows of the forest for centuries, witnessing fear etched on the faces of countless villagers who dared to venture too close. This brave little girl, however, stood firm before him, determination radiating from her small frame. It was a sight he hadn't expected to encounter. "What is a human child doing here?" he murmured, his voice smooth like flowing silk, but tinged with hesitation. Lily, sensing his surprise, took a small step forward, clutching Teddy Bear tightly. "I'm looking for my mom," she repeated earnestly, her heart beating fast. "I heard stories about magical creatures who might help me." The Vampire King's expression softened slightly, intrigued by her bravery. Yet doubt lingered in his mind. He had always been seen as a creature of darkness and fear, a figure that haunted the tales told around firelight in the village. Despite her courage, did this child truly understand the dangers present in the woods? Did she not know that many humans viewed him as a monster? "Little girl," he said gently but firmly, "do you not fear me? Most would run away at the sight of someone like me." Lily shook her head vigorously, her curls bouncing. "No, you don't seem scary at all. You could help me find my mom." Her conviction was unmistakably strong. There was no room for doubt in her tiny voice. With a frown creasing his angular features, the Vampire King considered her naive trust. "But what if I am dangerous? What if I cannot protect you from the true darkness in this forest?" She raised her chin defiantly, unwavering in her plea. "I believe you can. You are powerful, and you're talking to me right now. You could choose to be my friend." The innocence in her words struck a chord within him, echoing louder than any whisper of trepidation. He chuckled softly at her boldness, surprised by the resilience packed into such a small figure. There was something refreshingly unique about this child, something magical that made him reconsider his initial instincts. Here was a human who didn't seem to be charmed by fear or legends passed down through generations. "I suppose not all humans are alike," he admitted slowly. "Still, You must know this is serious business. We may encounter shadows and creatures that will seek to do us harm. It will require great courage to face them." Lily nodded firmly again, filled with a sense of purpose that renewed her spirit. "I'll be brave. I have to find my mom." Moved by her determination and spirit, the Vampire King sighed quietly to himself. "Very well," he said at last, shifting slightly closer as the glow from the clearing illuminated them both. "I will help you. But tread carefully. We embark on a dangerous path." He extended his hand toward her, palm open in invitation. Lily hesitated for only a moment before taking it, feeling warmth where she expected coolness. And together, they began their journey through the depths of the forest. As they stepped into the shadowy embrace of the trees, an unexpected alliance formed between the brave girl with unwavering faith and the Vampire King who found himself drawn into her light. A bond forged by courage and necessity in a world where darkness loomed ominously ahead. As the Vampire King extended his hand toward Lily, she felt a surge of warmth and courage. The flickering glow in the clearing cast playful shadows around them, and for a moment she could hardly believe that this powerful being was willing to help her. But she knew she had to be clear about her feelings and fears. I don't want to seem silly," she began, her voice steady despite the fluttering in her stomach. She tightened her grip on Teddy Bear, using it as a source of comfort. "But I really need your help. My mom is missing, and I'm really worried about her. She didn't come home tonight, and I don't know what to do." The Vampire King listened intently, his silver eyes glimmering with a mix of curiosity and empathy. "Tell me more about her," he urged gently, leaning closer with genuine interest. Lily took a deep breath, recalling her mother's warm smile and gentle laugh. "She's the best mom in the whole world. She bakes the yummiest cookies, and she always knows how to make me feel better when I'm sad. We share everything, our dreams, our stories, even our silly jokes. I can't imagine being without her." Her voice wavered for a moment, and she felt tears prick the corners of her eyes. "I just want to find her. I know she's out there somewhere." The Vampire King's expression softened as he watched Lily's determination shine through the sadness in her eyes. There was something magical about her spirit that tugged at him. "You are brave to come into these woods alone, little one," he said thoughtfully. "Many would have turned back at the sight of me or the darkness that surrounds us." Lily nodded vigorously, wiping away a tear with the back of her hand. "I can't turn back. If my mom is lost or in trouble, I have to help her." Her small voice held a fierce conviction that resonated deeply within the Vampire King. "Humans are often fearful of my kind," he replied softly, his voice carrying an unusual note of vulnerability. "They think we bring only danger and darkness." He paused for a moment, contemplating the implications of his past actions. "But perhaps you're right. Not all creatures are as they seem. Please," she urged, her eyes wide with hope. "I believe you can help me. You're powerful and wise. If anyone can find my mom in this forest, it's you." Her words struck a chord within him, stirring feelings he had buried long ago, feelings of connection and purpose. He was no longer just the feared Vampire King. Perhaps he could also be a protector. "Very well," he said at last, a hint of resolve in his tone. "I will help you find your mother. But we must tread carefully. There are dangers lurking in these woods that even I cannot control." Lily's heart soared with relief and gratitude. "Thank you. Thank you so much," she exclaimed, her face lighting up with joy. As they clasped hands, She felt an unspoken bond forming between them, two unlikely allies united by love and determination. With the Vampire King at her side, Lily felt emboldened and ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in the dark forest. "Together, we will find your mother," he assured her as they began their journey into the unknown. With every step they took deeper into the shadows, Lily felt a flicker of hope igniting within her, a belief that love would always light the way, matter how dark the path may become. As they began their journey into the depths of the forest, the Vampire King couldn't shake off the feeling that something had changed within him. The brave little girl walking beside him, her eyes filled with hope and determination, stirred emotions he hadn't felt in centuries. Her unwavering faith in him and her belief that he could be a protector made him question his own dark reputation. Each step they took deeper into the forest revealed shadows that flickered like ghosts. Yet Lily remained undeterred, her grip on her flashlight steady as she focused on their path. "Do you think we'll find her soon?" she asked, glancing up at him with those bright, expectant eyes. "Perhaps," he replied thoughtfully. But doubt lingered in the corners of his mind. He had lived long enough to know that the forest was unpredictable and held many dangers. Still, as he looked down at this tiny human beside him, her spirit shone brighter than any light he had known before. Lily turned her attention to the trees around them, their gnarled branches twisting high above like ancient sentinels guarding secrets. "You know," she began, her voice curious and innocent, "I used to be scared of vampires. I thought they were all bad." He shifted slightly, intrigued by her words. "And what changed your mind?" he asked, genuinely curious. She paused for a moment, considering his question. "I think it's because you're helping me. You're not just a scary monster. You're someone who wants to help instead." Her faith in him was almost overwhelming. The Vampire King felt a warmth spread through his chest at her words, an unfamiliar sensation that dissolved some of the ice that had encased his heart for so long. Here was a child who saw beyond the darkness. She wasn't afraid of who he was, but was willing to see him for who he could be, a friend and an ally. As they walked further along the winding path, Lily began to share stories of her life back in the village. Baking cookies with her mother, running through fields of flowers, and laughing with friends. Her voice painted vivid images in his mind, reminding him of times when laughter rang through his own heart before the shadows took over. "Do you have a family?" she asked innocently, after recounting a tale about a trip she took with her mother to the market. The question caught him off guard. For centuries, his existence had been solitary, filled with tales of loss and regret. "I've lost mine long ago," he answered quietly, his voice barely above a whisper. Her gaze softened at his revelation. "I'm sorry," she said sincerely, "but now you can help me find my mom. Maybe we can save others too." The sincerity in her words tugged at his heartstrings once more. It was as though Lily's unwavering belief in goodness had peeled away layers of bitterness built by years alone in the dark corners of the forest. With every shared story and each moment spent together, the Vampire King felt his resolve strengthening. He wanted to protect this little girl and help her find her mother. It was time for him to redefine who he was. "Let's make that promise," he said finally, inspired by Lily's courage and kindness. "We will find your mother, and perhaps even discover what light can exist among shadows." As they continued forward into deeper darkness together, it became clear that this unlikely partnership held more than just the promise of adventure. It carried a chance for redemption and discovery for both of them as they faced whatever lay ahead on their path toward hope. With the Vampire King by her side, Lily felt a newfound sense of courage as they walked deeper into the forest. The trees towered above them like ancient guards, their branches intertwining to cast intricate shadows on the ground. The path twisted and turned, sometimes disappearing into thick underbrush or leading to steep drops that tested their footing. "Be careful here," the Vampire King warned, guiding Lily around a patch of tangled roots that threatened to trip her. His sharp eyes missed nothing, and he was always one step ahead, ensuring she stayed safe. "Thank you," Lily replied, her voice steady as she pointed her flashlight into the dark, revealing strange plants that glowed softly in the night. "Look at those. They're beautiful." The Vampire King nodded, surprised by her wonder. "They are called moonflowers. They bloom only at night." As they continued down the winding path, strange sounds echoed through the darkness. The rustle of leaves made it seem as if unseen creatures were watching them from the shadows. Occasionally, a soft hoot from an owl would break the stillness, sending a shiver down Lily's spine. But she pressed forward, her determination stronger than any fear. "Do you think we'll meet any magical creatures?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. The Vampire King chuckled softly. "We may encounter some, but not all creatures are friendly." He glanced at her, wanting to shield her from any danger that lurked in the depths of the forest. He wanted to be more than just a protector. He wanted to be her ally. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the trees as a branch snapped nearby. Lily jumped back, instinctively clutching Teddy Bear tighter. The Vampire King quickly moved in front of her, his expression serious as he scanned their surroundings. "Stay close," he instructed, his voice low and purposeful. They moved cautiously, stepping carefully over rocks and avoiding patches of mud that could slow them down. As they navigated through thick vegetation, they encountered a small stream with water sparkling under the moonlight. "Can we stop for a moment?" Lily asked, eager to rest and take in the beauty around them. "Of course," he replied, allowing her a brief pause. They sat on a large flat rock by the stream's edge. As Lily dipped her fingers into the cool water, she looked up at him with curiosity. "What was it like before you became the Vampire King? Did you have friends?" she asked innocently. The question caught him off guard. He hadn't thought about his past in ages. "I did once," he said slowly, recalling memories of laughter and camaraderie before darkness consumed his life. "But things change when you live so long." Lily sensed a heaviness in his voice and offered him a bright smile. "You have me now," she declared cheerfully, "and I think you're a good friend." Her words melted away some of his lingering sadness. He found himself smiling back at her genuine enthusiasm, realizing how much he cherished this unexpected friendship. "Thank you, Lily," he said quietly. "I didn't expect to find friendship in this forest again." As they continued their journey, every challenge they faced together deepened their bond. They helped each other navigate tricky paths and calmed one another's fears when shadows loomed large. With every shared story and laugh, they grew closer, forging an unbreakable connection built on trust and mutual understanding. "Whatever lies ahead," the Vampire King promised as they moved deeper into the forest's embrace, "we will face it together." Lily nodded resolutely, feeling stronger with him beside her. Together they ventured onward into the unknown, ready to encounter whatever challenges awaited them, while their friendship blossomed like the moonflowers around them, beautiful and resilient against the dark backdrop of the forest. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the atmosphere around Lily and the Vampire King shifted. The air grew thick with mystery, and every rustle of leaves or snap of a twig seemed to whisper secrets waiting to be uncovered. They moved cautiously, their senses heightened, aware that they were on a quest for answers about Lily's missing mother. "Look!" Lily suddenly exclaimed, pointing excitedly at the ground. There, partially hidden beneath fallen leaves, were faint footprints imprinted in the soft earth. She hurried over, her heart racing with hope. "These must be hers. My mom's shoes are just like this." The Vampire King knelt beside her, studying the prints closely. "They do appear small," he noted, his brow furrowing as he traced the outline with his fingers. "But they are quite faint. She may have been walking carefully or trying to hide her presence." Lily's excitement dimmed slightly at his words. "What does that mean?" she asked, worry creeping into her voice. "It could mean she was cautious for a reason," he replied thoughtfully, standing up to survey the area around them. "Let's follow these footprints and see where they lead." Together, they walked carefully along the path, marked by the delicate impressions in the mud. As they followed the trail, Lily felt a mix of hope and anxiety bubbling inside her. Every step brought them closer to finding her mother. But what if they discovered something troubling instead? As they continued on, the trees grew denser and the shadows deeper. Suddenly, they stumbled upon an unusual sight. A large stone covered in strange markings that glowed faintly in the dim light. Lily approached it cautiously, her curiosity piqued. "What do you think it is?" she asked, running her fingers over the cool surface. The Vampire King examined the markings closely. "These symbols seem ancient," he said slowly. "They might tell a story or hold a message." At that moment, Lily noticed something else. A small piece of fabric caught on a nearby branch. She rushed over and gently pulled it free. Holding it up to her flashlight, she gasped in recognition. "This is from my mom's dress. It must have torn when she was here." The Vampire King took a step closer, studying the fabric. "This means she was here recently," he said with renewed determination. "We're on the right track." Lily's heart soared with hope as she clutched the fabric tightly in her hand. "Maybe we can find more clues. Let's keep looking." They pressed on, their spirits lifted by this new evidence of Lily's mother. As they moved through thick underbrush and stepped over twisted roots, they found more signs. A broken twig that looked freshly snapped and a faint scent of lavender lingering in the air. "Mom always wears lavender perfume," Lily explained excitedly as she inhaled deeply, letting the familiar scent wash over her. "Then we are certainly close," he replied with a reassuring smile. Suddenly, they heard a low growl echo through the trees, sending a chill down their spines. The sounds of shifting leaves grew louder as something approached from deeper within the forest. "Stay close to me," the Vampire King instructed firmly, instinctively stepping protectively in front of Lily. Peering into the darkness ahead, they braced themselves for what might emerge from the shadows. Whatever it was could either be another clue or a challenge ahead. Together, they faced whatever awaited them with courage, buoyed by their growing friendship and determination to uncover the truth about Lily's mother. As they stood united against the unknown dangers lurking in the darkness, Lily felt reassured knowing that with each clue uncovered and each challenge faced together, they were drawing closer not only to answers, but also to an unbreakable bond forged through bravery and trust in one another. The low growl echoed through the trees, sending a shiver down Lily's spine. The Vampire King stood tall and alert, his senses heightened as he scanned the darkness around them. "Whatever it is, we must be ready," he whispered, his voice steady despite the tension in the air. Lily clutched Teddy Bear closely, her heart racing as she awaited the unknown creature lurking in the shadows. Suddenly, a figure emerged from behind the dense foliage, stepping into the dim light of their flashlight. It was a tall, menacing woman, draped in a dark cloak that seemed to shimmer with a life of its own. Her eyes glinted with malice, and a sly smile twisted her lips. Well, what do we have here?" she taunted, her voice smooth yet dripping with disdain. "A little girl and her vampire friend, wandering through my forest. How delightful." "Who are you?" Lily demanded, trying to sound braver than she felt. The woman's smile widened, revealing sharp teeth that glinted in the moonlight. "I am Morgath, the keeper of these woods, and the one responsible for your mother's disappearance." Lily gasped, her heart sinking. "What have you done to her?" Morgath laughed softly, a sound that sent chills through Lily's bones. "Your mother was meddling in affairs that do not concern humans. She stumbled into my domain, and I simply helped her find her way." "Helped? You took her!" Lily shouted, anger bubbling over. She felt small but fierce, fueled by the love she had for her mother and by the belief that she could face this villain. The Vampire King stepped forward protectively, his expression serious. "Release her at once, Morgath. You have no right to keep her captive." "Oh? And what will you do if I refuse?" Morgath replied mockingly, crossing her arms as she surveyed them both with amusement. "You think you can threaten me?" "We're not afraid of you," Lily declared, surprising even herself with the strength in her voice. Morgath raised an eyebrow, intrigued by the girl's boldness. "Is that so? You're just a little child lost in a dangerous world." The Vampire King felt a surge of admiration for Lily's bravery. "It is true that she is a child," he said firmly, "but she has courage that you underestimate. For every moment you keep her mother from her, you only strengthen our resolve to find her." The tension thickened as Morgath studied them both. "Very well," she said after a moment, her voice low and dangerous. "If you wish to see your mother again, you must prove yourselves worthy." Lily and the Vampire King exchanged glances, both realizing they were entering a perilous challenge. "What do we have to do?" Lily asked, her heart pounding. "Complete 3 tasks under the light of the moon," Morgath explained with a wicked grin. "Only then will I consider releasing your precious mother." "What tasks?" the Vampire King asked sharply. Morgath waved her hand dismissively. "You'll find out soon enough. But know this, fail, and both of you may very well join her in my domain forever." With that, she vanished into the shadows as quickly as she had appeared, leaving Lily and the Vampire King standing in stunned silence. The forest seemed to hold its breath around them. "We'll find her," Lily said resolutely, determination hardening in her voice despite the fear coursing through her veins. "We have to." The Vampire King nodded solemnly, feeling a mix of responsibility and urgency. "Together, we will face whatever challenges Morgath throws our way. We will not let fear stop us." As they steeled themselves for the tasks ahead, Lily felt a rush of hope. With each challenge they faced together, they would not only seek to rescue her mother, but also strengthen their bond, one forged in bravery against darkness. "Let's prepare ourselves," he said, as they ventured further into the forest, ready to confront whatever trials awaited them while keeping their eyes fixed on the ultimate goal: finding Lily's mother and bringing her home safely. The moon hung high in the sky, casting a silver glow over the enchanted glade where Lily and the Vampire King had just completed their first task. As the light faded, Morgath's voice echoed ominously through the trees, reminding them of the 2 remaining challenges ahead. "Stay close," the Vampire King instructed, feeling both protective and invigorated by their success. We need to remain focused. Lily nodded, her heart racing with excitement and determination. What do you think the next task will be? She asked as they ventured deeper into the forest. I'm not sure, he replied thoughtfully, but we must be ready for anything. As they walked, they soon found themselves facing a murky swamp filled with thick fog. In the center stood a stone pedestal, upon which lay a shimmering orb glowing with a warm, golden light. It seemed to beckon them closer. I bet that's part of our next challenge, Lily exclaimed, her eyes widening with wonder. Perhaps, said the Vampire King cautiously. He could sense an enchantment surrounding it, something powerful and dangerous. But we must proceed carefully. Before they could take another step, shadowy figures emerged from the mists, creatures resembling twisted versions of themselves that taunted them mischievously. Welcome, welcome. Can you solve our riddle, or will you be trapped in this swamp forever? One creature hissed. Lily exchanged nervous glances with the Vampire King. What should we do? She whispered. Use your mind and listen closely, he encouraged her gently. You have a unique way of thinking that might help us. The lead creature began to recite a riddle, riddled with tricky phrases designed to confuse them. I am not alive, but I can grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have limbs, yet I can die. What am I? Lily closed her eyes for a moment, letting thoughts swirl around in her head as she recalled lessons from her mother's storytelling about fire, a concept she found captivating during their baking sessions when they would talk about how flames danced in their hearth. It's fire, she exclaimed suddenly, adrenaline coursing through her veins as she looked at the creatures confidently. The creatures giggled, mockingly at first, but grew silent when their faces turned blank with surprise. Correct, they said reluctantly, before stepping aside to reveal a safe passage across the swamp. That was amazing, whispered Lily excitedly as they crossed over to the pedestal unharmed. The orb pulsed brightly as they approached it together, seemingly acknowledging both their strengths. The power of Lily's quick thinking alongside the Vampire King's steadfast guidance and experience. When they reached out simultaneously to touch it, warmth enveloped them like an embrace. Suddenly, visions flickered before their eyes. Flashes of Lily's mother smiling and laughing intermingled with dark shadows that hinted at Morgath's sinister influence over her fate. We're getting closer, Lily said breathlessly as tears glimmered in her eyes, reflecting hope once more reignited within her heart. They turned toward one another in mutual understanding. The path was still uncertain ahead, but they united together, forged stronger now through teamwork, buoyed by friendship unfurling beautifully amid continuing challenges looming large ahead. As they prepared to tackle whatever Morgath had planned next for them, with each challenge edging them closer toward rescuing Lily's mother, they felt emboldened, knowing that together they'd face whatever darkness lay ahead, using their unique strengths, harmonizing into something extraordinary, capable of conquering even shadows darker than night. A bond like this cannot be broken, declared Lily firmly as they pressed onward into deeper realms. Their hearts intertwined, firmly encasing promises made along trails forged unyieldingly lit by love, powering constantly lighting paths awaited ahead, leading onward, bound forever, within this exceptional enchanted adventure, shared uniquely side by side, treasured evermore. After overcoming the challenges set forth by Morgath, Lily and the Vampire King stood before the entrance to a dark cave, their hearts pounding with anticipation. The glowing orb they had retrieved emitted a soft light, illuminating the rocky pathway ahead. They knew that within the depths of the cave lay Lily's mother, and the thought both excited and terrified them. "Are you ready?" the Vampire King asked, sensing Lily's apprehension. "I have to be," she replied, determination lighting her eyes. She clutched Teddy Bear tightly, drawing strength from the comfort it brought her. "Let's go find my mom." Together, they stepped into the cave, the air growing cooler and denser as they descended deeper. The walls glistened with moisture, reflecting their light in shimmering patterns that danced around them. As they ventured further, strange sounds echoed through the darkness, whispers that seemed to come from every corner of the cave. Suddenly they heard a familiar voice, a soft and soothing melody that stirred memories in Lily's heart. "Lily," the voice called out gently, resonating within her like a warm hug. "Mom?" Lily cried out, her voice trembling with hope. They quickened their pace, following the sound until they reached an expansive chamber filled with shimmering crystals that cast colors across the walls. In the center stood Lily's mother, trapped within a web of dark magic, her face pale but serene. "Mom!" Lily shouted, rushing toward her with tears of joy streaming down her face. But a dark mist swirled menacingly around her mother, making it impossible to reach her. "Stay back," warned the Vampire King, stepping protectively in front of Lily. "We must break the spell without getting too close." The dark mist morphed into a shadowy form. Morgath herself emerged from it with a triumphant smile. "You really thought you could defeat me? This is where your journey ends." Lily felt fear creep in again, but remembered all that she had faced with the Vampire King at her side. "No, we won't let you keep her," she shouted defiantly. The Vampire King moved forward himself, standing tall against Morgath's power. "You underestimate us both," he declared firmly. "Lily's courage is stronger than your darkness." Morgath let out a chilling laugh. "Let's see how brave you are when faced with true despair." With a flick of her wrist, she sent waves of dark energy toward them. "Lily!" he shouted as he moved to shield her from the attack. In that moment, however, something incredible happened. The bond they had forged through their journey glowed brightly between them. A warm light emanated from Lily as she felt her mother's love guide her instincts. In a rush of bravery, Lily stepped forward boldly and held the glowing orb high above her head. "I believe in love. You can't win against it," she cried out as light burst forth from the orb, illuminating everything around them. The light collided with Morgath's dark magic, creating a dazzling explosion of colors that filled the cave. Shadows shrieked and writhed as they were consumed by the bright energy radiating from Lily's heart. "No!" Morgath screamed as she was engulfed by the light. The dark mist surrounding Lily's mother dissipated instantly, revealing her more vividly than ever before. "Lily!" her mother called out, rushing toward her with open arms. Tears streamed down both their faces as they embraced tightly, their love breaking through all barriers that had tried to keep them apart. "Oh, Mom, I was so scared." Lily sobbed joyfully into her mother's shoulder. "I'm here now, my sweet girl," she whispered soothingly. "You found me." The warmth of their reunion filled the cave with an overwhelming sense of love and hope. The Vampire King watched from a short distance away, feeling a sense of fulfillment wash over him as he witnessed this emotional moment. As Lily finally stepped back to look at her mother's smiling face once more, they joined hands together along with the Vampire King. Each part of their trio connected through bonds crafted from friendship and love. Together, they would face whatever came next on this enchanted adventure, united forever, now in heart and spirit strong. As the heartwarming reunion between Lily and her mother unfolded, The Vampire King stood slightly aside, his eyes filled with a mixture of joy and contemplation. He watched the bond between mother and daughter, the love that radiated between them like a beacon in the dark. In that moment, something within him shifted, awakening emotions long buried under centuries of solitude and fear. He had always believed that humans were inherently afraid of him, viewing him through the lens of stories filled with dread and horror. The weight of his dark reputation pressed heavily on his chest, making it hard for him to see beyond the shadows he had accepted as his life. Yet here was Lily, a brave, spirited girl who not only saw beyond his fears, but believed in his goodness. Wiping her tears and laughing in joy, Lily turned her attention to the Vampire King, pulling her mother tightly by her side. "Thank you for helping me find her," she exclaimed, her voice bright with gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without you." Her words sparked a warmth within him, igniting feelings he hadn't experienced in ages. The bond they had formed during their journey opened his eyes to the possibility that he could be more than just a creature of the dark. He could be a protector, a friend, someone worthy of trust rather than fear. "We did this together," he replied with sincerity, his voice steady but softer than usual. "Your courage is what made all the difference." Lily's mother looked at him with understanding. "Thank you for being there for my daughter. I can't imagine what she would have faced without you." The Vampire King felt a blush of pride wash over him, mixing with the confusion of emotions he was beginning to feel about human connections. "I have learned much from both of you," he admitted thoughtfully. "Your love and bravery have transformed me in ways I thought impossible." As they prepared to leave the cave together, an unexpected confidence began to blossom within him. Encouraged by the warmth radiating from Lily and her mother, would he continue to be seen as a monster? Or could he break free from that mold and redefine himself through this newfound friendship? With every step back into the forest, the darkness around him began to feel less oppressive. Each twist and turn brought them closer to light, shaking loose remnants of doubt that had clung to him like vines for too long. Maybe it was possible to coexist with humans not as a figure to be feared, but as an ally instead. They exited the cave into the cool night air, the stars above twinkling with promise. Together, they walked under their luminous glow, Lily holding her mother's hand tightly, while the Vampire King walked beside them, feeling lighter than he had in centuries. "Where do we go next?" Lily asked cheerfully, glancing back at him with curiosity sparking in her eyes. "To a place where love shines brighter than any fear," he answered, marveling at how easily those words slipped from his lips. With renewed purpose in their hearts and minds, they ventured forward as a united trio, Lily, her mother, and the Vampire King, bound not only by their shared experiences, but also by transformation. As they traversed through the forest filled with possibilities, each step became a testament to Lily's openness and bravery. The Vampire King realized that not all humans would see him as a monster. Instead, some could recognize him for who he truly was, a protector who could stand against darkness. With every challenge faced together, he felt himself slowly shedding layers of fear and doubt until only hope remained. The hope that alongside this beautiful girl and her loving mother, he could carve out a new path, one where friendship flourished and strength emerged from compassion rather than terror. Together toward the horizon, they journeyed, a promise forged in love, forever changing who he was meant to be. As they emerged from the cave into the open night air, Lily, her mother, and the Vampire King stood together under a sky filled with twinkling stars. The warmth of their reunion still enveloped them. But reality began to set in as they realized that their adventure had changed them all forever. "Thank you for bringing me back to my mother," Lily said, looking up at the Vampire King with gratitude shining in her eyes. "I couldn't have done it without you." The Vampire King smiled softly, his heart swelling with emotion. "You showed incredible bravery, Lily. It was your courage that led us to this moment." Lily's mother placed a comforting hand on her daughter's shoulder. "And it was your kindness that opened my eyes to who he truly is," she added, glancing at the Vampire King with appreciation. "Not all creatures of the night are to be feared." The Vampire King felt a rush of warmth at her words. For so long, he had been burdened by the weight of being seen as a monster. But these two remarkable women had shown him that friendship could exist between them despite their differences. He looked at them both, realizing he wanted to protect them not just as a duty, but as someone who cared deeply. "From now on, I promise to stand by your side," he declared earnestly. "We will face whatever challenges come our way together." Lily nodded eagerly, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Yes, we can be a team." Her mother smiled warmly at the enthusiasm radiating from her daughter. "A team built on kindness and trust can overcome any obstacle," she said thoughtfully. As they began walking through the forest toward home, the moonlight illuminated their path ahead. Each step felt lighter than before, filled with hope and newfound purpose. The darkness surrounding the woods didn't seem as daunting anymore. It was now infused with possibilities instead. "Do you think we'll go on more adventures?" Lily asked playfully, glancing back at the Vampire King. "Absolutely," he replied with a chuckle. "There are many stories left to tell." "Maybe we can even help others who need it," Lily suggested excitedly. "That's a wonderful idea," her mother agreed. "Every creature deserves a chance to find their way home." The Vampire King smiled at their optimism and determination to spread kindness and understanding. Together, they would forge new paths, not only for themselves, but for others who might find themselves lost in darkness. As they ventured deeper into the forest, surrounded by whispering leaves and rustling branches, they began discussing plans for future adventures. Exploring hidden glades filled with mysteries yet to uncover, or lending assistance to lost creatures seeking guidance through the shadows. In that moment of shared dreams and laughter, something magical solidified between them, a bond stronger than fear or prejudice. They were united not only by their experiences, but also by love and friendship that bridged different worlds. Lily turned to the Vampire King with a playful grin. "You know what? You should come visit our village sometime." "I would like that very much," he replied sincerely. And so they walked on under the starry sky, three friends bound together by an extraordinary journey of bravery and compassion, ready to face whatever awaited them beyond this night, while carrying forth promises made anew through love, shared alongside kindred spirits destined always onward together. As the trio walked together beneath the twinkling stars, a sense of peace enveloped them. The air was cool, carrying the sweet scent of blossoms that bloomed only under the moonlight. Lily, her mother, and the Vampire King shared stories and laughter, celebrating their adventure while forging plans for new ones. Each step felt lighter, more hopeful, and full of possibility, a stark contrast to the darkness they had faced in the forest. "Do you remember when we first met?" Lily asked, glancing up at the Vampire King with excitement in her eyes. "You were so scary, but ended up being so brave." The Vampire King chuckled softly, shaking his head. I never expected to gain such a brave friend. You taught me that true strength comes from compassion and understanding." Lily's mother smiled warmly at both of them. It's incredible how friendships can blossom in the most unexpected places. You helped each other overcome fears and misconceptions. She paused to look deeply into the Vampire King's eyes. You are not just a creature of the night. You are someone who can stand with us against darkness. Lily beamed at her mother's words, feeling proud of their united strength. They had faced challenges that would have frightened many. Yet here they were, three different beings bonded by love, courage, and kindness. Together, they created a power stronger than fear. As they continued their journey home, it became clear that this adventure was more than just rescuing Lily's mother. It had flourished into a greater realization about themselves and each other. The Vampire King now understood that not all humans viewed him as a monster. Through their shared experience, he had become part of something beautiful and transformative. "There's so much we can do together," Lily exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Maybe we can help others who are lost or scared just like I was." "Absolutely," her mother replied with conviction. "We can lend a hand to those in need, no matter how different they are from us." The Vampire King nodded in agreement. Finding strength in our differences is crucial. He paused thoughtfully, assessing the bond forming between them. Kindness, bravery, and friendship can bridge any gap, even one as wide as night and day. As they approached the edge of the forest, leading back to their village, Lily's mind spun with ideas for future adventures filled with helping others and showing that friendship could emerge between even the unlikeliest of companions. "Let's promise to always be there for one another," she said earnestly, looking to both adults beside her. "No matter what happens." Her mother took Lily's hand and smiled lovingly at her daughter. "I promise, my sweet girl." The Vampire King extended his hand too, a rare smile on his face. "I promise as well." They formed a circle, holding hands under the starlit sky, a powerful symbol of their newfound commitment to protect and support one another. In that moment of unity, they all understood that true courage flourishes not only in facing fears, but also in nurturing bonds that inspire connection and compassion among each other. Together, they turned towards the village lights shimmering in the distance, ready to embrace whatever awaited them. Adventures to unfold and lives to touch, knowing they could conquer any darkness together through the strength derived from friendship and unwavering kindness. And so, with hearts full of love and hands clasped tightly together, they stepped into the future, confident that their journey had only just begun, leaving behind echoes of laughter mingling harmoniously with the whispers of the night.